Welcome, GovKids. This how-to video should help you walk through your fourth assessment. Oh my gosh, can you believe it? We're already on our fourth assessment. Time is flying. Okay, let's get started. This is what your assignment looks like on Canvas to reach this destination. You are going to start at the home screen. Scroll down. You're going to click topic 2 because that's where we are working in. You're going to scroll down, and since we are assessing target 4, you are going to click learning target 4 evidence. And this is what you would see. You need to download this link. It is a document. When you download that, this is what you will see. And let me just, messed up. Okay, anyway, yeah, I'm gonna. So here's how it works. In Learning Target 4, we talked about George Washington's farewell address, where he outlined the essential qualities we need to demonstrate uh, so that we can have a prosperous, effective democracy. He categorized these characteristics and duties into 4 categories of civic virtue. Civic knowledge, which is the need and the must to make sure you are an informed citizen so that you can make an informed judgment when you vote. Okay, that means staying up to date on news, making sure you know who your local representatives are and what they are doing. That's important. Our second category is self-restraint, making sure that citizens are abiding by the laws set for the land. We cannot have chaos. Everyone needs to do their part to make it a safe place. The third category is self-assertion. Self-assertion, you are recognizing the privilege of having all of these rights, like the freedom of religion, the freedom of speech, our free journalism, and the right to assemble, and the right to protest, and the right to have your voices heard. That is a privilege. You will not see that everywhere in the world. So part of self-assertion is to make sure that not only are we cautious and cognitive about this privilege, but we will protect it by all means necessary. Okay, so when we were asking what is the issue with the anti-masks people, well, essentially they were fighting to uphold our right as people in America, our citizens of America, to choose. They did not want the government to overstep their boundaries and the power balance. They felt the need to make sure that they keep it in check. Okay, and then finally, self-reliance. This is when, in order to be an effective community and society and country, we have to make sure that everyone in our country has their basic needs and necessities met. Okay, meaning shelter, right, clean water, food, and in my opinion, healthcare and education. Okay. All right, so those are the 4 big categories civic virtues fall under. And this assignment is really looking at those civic virtues and connecting them to your political ideology, your personal political ideology, what you think the government, how you think the government should operate, how big you think the government should be, what limitations you think the government should be held to, etc. Okay, so the big question that you're going to be answering in this assessment is, how do civic virtues contribute to your personal political ideology? Exciting. Okay, so make sure that in your answer you include, number 1, ranking the civic virtues. So make sure you talk about which one you think is most important and then rank them to the least important. Be clear, use full explanations, and make sure that you give examples. If you're talking about civic knowledge and how it's important to make sure that the people of the land are educated and blah, 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 give me examples. Talk about how we need to add more funding to the public school system across the country. Talk about how we need to make sure that the literacy rate drops, especially among different groups of people, things like that. If you're going to talk about self assertion, really dive in deep. Talk about our long history of protests and standing up for what we believe in and protecting our rights. Okay, so have fun with that. Number two, explanation of why people with liberal values and people with conservative values may rank those civic virtues differently. So, how I think you should start is, first off, I would rank how you would rank the civic virtues. Then I would have liberals written down and then kind of guesstimate how you think they would rank themselves, or find a family member or a friend you know who considers themselves liberal and ask them how they would rank it. And then finally, do the same thing with conservatives. After you're done with that, your last point is explanation of how the factors of political ideology, so remember our beliefs on how the government should run. Explain how the factors of political ideology influenced your political ideology and therefore influenced your ranking of civic virtues. Okay? Here is an organizer to help you. Please feel free to disregard the sentence structure if you do not need it. I do not want to clip anybody's wings. This is only there for those who struggle with writing, struggle with formulating ideas and putting it all in one place. So please do not feel bound to this, okay? All right, that is your assignment. Thursday is going to be a work day. If I were you, that's the research part. I would do your rankings of the civic virtues, maybe reach out to people who you know are conservative and liberal, ask them how they might rank their civic virtues, and then start looking at connections between how you gained your political ideology, which is political socialization. How were you politically socialized? And then connect them to what you believe today, right? So if you grew up in a household and everyone was really engaged in the government and everybody partook in the campaign process, whether your older brother went door to door, knocking on doors, handing out pamphlets, or your dad is doing phone calls, your mom is running fundraisers, that's going to really influence how you think politics should work, how you think the government should work, okay? And the same is true if you grew up in a very poverty-stricken area, right? You're going to have different ideas of what the government should be doing for people in poverty than a rich family and people from a rich background. So I want you to spend some time making those connections. How have you been politically socialized? What are some experiences you've grown up witnessing, right? And then start connecting those to some of your political ideologies, some of the things you believe about the government, okay? All right, I hope this helps. Friday will be there. I will hold a Q&A if you need help. If you need any last minute tweaks to your paper, get on Friday morning and get your last minute help. If this is due Friday at the end of the period, this is due by 10 o'clock on Friday, 10 a.m. Friday. So you have Thursday and Friday is when you should be doing your final draft, putting your finishing pieces on it. All right. Have a great evening.